Hi everyone, happy day before the 4th of July and a happy birthday to America to all you guys out there. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and welcome to Mike's Laboratory. Alright, today what we're going to do, I'm going to get started on the MSV. I'm going to start taking it apart, show you guys how to do that. But I got a surprise in the mail today. My friend and fellow AOA member Pete Buckley sent me some really awesome 3D printed items. I asked him for one thing and he sent me a bunch of other stuff. So thanks very much, Pete. I appreciate it. And I'm going to show all these other guys how good you are at this stuff, especially for somebody who ain't been doing it all that long. Anyhow, let's begin. All right. Flip the camera here and go. Away we go. Okay. I asked Pete to send me this engine here. He showed a picture of one of his Jeeps with one of these 3D printed motors in there, and I thought that was pretty damn cool, especially since I've got a couple of Jeeps, a couple of custom ones, and a couple of 5 stars in the Adventure Team Brown, desert Jeeps, and they all have this empty engine compartment. So let's take a close look at this one here. It's got some decent detail, looks pretty cool. And see, we got a nice flat bottom, so it'll sit at the bottom of the engine bay. Now this Jeep here is Super Jeep. It's a modified formative international Jeep. And as you can see here, it looks pretty good. It's kind of centered in there, maybe a dab of glue to hold it in place. Anyhow, looks pretty good to me. Pete was also kind enough to send me a battery. That ought to look pretty good. Probably mount it up right about there. Yeah, sweet. I'll probably look at some pictures of an actual Jeep engine bay. Imitate that as close as I can so it looks cool. Okay. You can see the detailing on these is pretty good. Most 3D printed stuff I've seen has much rougher filament lines than this stuff does. So hell yeah. Looking good, Pete. Keep up the good work, buddy. You can check out Pete's videos and other stuff on his YouTube channel called The Skull Reviews. Alright, he also sent me this really nice gas can. Again, it's pretty well detailed. A minimum of flash to cut off. A reproduction of the radioactive satellite from several AT sets. Again, very nice copy, very well done. This very nice equipment chest copy. This one's really nice. Again, it's got the very fine lines. Looks pretty good. Also pretty cool, an Axis of Ally or Axis of Awesome dog tag. We'll probably give that to my mini-me over here. And the coolest thing of all is this. I gotta hand it to you, buddy. I have never seen something that small in 3D print be that detailed. Look at that. Come on, camera, focus. Let's see, get a little better here. There we go. A little yellow Bic lighter. How cool does that get, huh? All right. Yeah, I guess we'll be giving that to this guy here too. Maybe use them from some other props. But anyways, thanks very much, Pete. I highly appreciate that. The extra goodies are quite welcome as always. And now, on to the main attraction. Okay. This mobile support vehicle is a different one than I showed you when I... Oh wait, no it's not. Sorry. Oops. I was going to do that, but I didn't. Alright. First thing to do with this is start taking these pieces off. And I've also found it useful just to tape this shut so it's not constantly falling off while you're working with the machine. So, I'm going to take a little piece of Gorilla tape here. By the way, this stuff, this Gorilla duct tape, this shit is awesome. It don't come off. I taped up my bathtub drain with this stuff, you know, where the little lever is, where you let the water out. because it kept leaking through. You know, it's got the little overflows underneath. I like to fill my bathtub up pretty high when I'm taking a bath, so went ahead and blocked that off with this stuff. It doesn't leak. Okay, first thing you got to do is take this part off. As you can see, there's like these little hinge clips here. It's just like a 5-star Jeep. You want to be very careful as you pull it off, because these little plastic rods that it hinges onto can break. So what I always do, I very gently work it like this and give some support behind the rods here. You can see that one popped off pretty easily. If you start doing that and you're having a little trouble and this part keeps tweaking and you're afraid to break it, clean it off good and a little silicone spray on there. I've shown this stuff before, we'll show it again. I find this stuff really handy for all kinds of repairs. Just spray a little bit of that on there and get it all clean, and that'll help make the plastic slippery so it'll pop off easier without breaking. Okay. This part should come off too. This just makes life a little easier to get this thing out of the way. If you look underneath, you see this little tab here. Pull the... This one's sticky. I have to see if there's some junk in there or something. Anyhow, pull that back, and then you got to stick a screwdriver or something down in there to push this little tab down so that the whole thing will slide out. So let me grab something to do that with. I'll be right back. Oh wait, here we go. Here's something. This piece of brass rod will probably do the trick. Maybe not. I guess that ain't gonna work. Let's try something else. Maybe from this side. You'd be stubborn on me today, huh? All right. Let's try one of these. These little hook tools are pretty handy to have too. You can buy them in like sets of 4, 5, or 6 at Harbor Freight Tools. They're pretty cheap and they're pretty handy for this kind of stuff. Come on out of there. Still not quite all the way, huh? Alright, the alternative method is to go back in there from this side. I don't know if you guys can see in there or not with the camera. See where the little tab is down there? I know it's tough to see. I'm doing my best here. You can catch it from the back end if you can't get it from the front like that. It's being stubborn. Almost got it that time. There we go. There we go. Must be a lot of dirt caked down in the slide for this thing for it to be so stubborn to come out. But anyhow, that's how you get it out of there. Let me show you a little close up. Get a tab right there. Yep, that's what's got to be pushed down right there. Okay. Get that out of the way. All right, now, just for the record, I'm flying by the seat of my pants here a little bit. I haven't done one of these in a few years, so there'll probably be some flubbage. All right, as you can see, 4 rivets at the top. I already drilled out that one right there, just when I was checking to make sure my drill bit was the right size a little earlier. All right, so using a hand drill for this would probably work okay too, but I think that would take a bit longer. But I use good old Milwaukee drill. And set it on fairly low speed. All right, don't tip over, camera. Stay standing there. There we go. All right, so what you want to do is you want to hit the rivet. It's going to spin. So subscribe yourself to that. What I usually do is I hit them at an angle like this. And go from both. There we go. That's what was supposed to happen. See if you can just knock the top off of the rivet. That seems to work best. Not quite. I will be replacing these with machine screws. I was originally going to try and redo it with rivets, original type rivets, but yeah. Then I'd have to drill the rivets out again to fix it again if something else goes wrong. Run off of there. Being a little stubborn. I also believe I said I was going to give it a bath first before I started this part. Decided not to because I didn't want to get water on the electric stuff inside here. Oops. Well, that one went right through. How about that? Come on off of there. Okay, all 4 rivets are out. This is the box. I'm just going to grab it and just kind of pull on it, wiggle a little bit until it comes out. Support the plastic up here if you need to while you're doing your wiggling. And if you need to drill a little more, have at it. Now they say watch your hands if you stick your hands down in there like I did. You do not want to drill a hole in your hands. This should go without saying. There we go. Safety tips are not necessarily a part of this program. Okay, now we have the box down. As you can see inside, those wires that go back to this little channel here, that's what goes to the switch. And they run underneath this. This is like a long cover that runs underneath here. Last time I did this, I went ahead and I I worked this channel off, the cover off. I used a razor blade and I went from both ends, and it took forever and it was really irritating and frustrating. You want to keep it real vintage, I would recommend going through the hassle of getting that cover off so you can just reglue it. If you are not interested in that and just want to make it work, because nobody can see up in here anyway, you can go ahead and cut and splice the wires. Whichever way you feel you want to do it. All right. For the purposes of this video, I think what I'm going to do is I am just going to grab the tab with a pair of pliers right here and see if I can break the cover loose with just a pull or two. If I can't, then we'll decide what to do next. So, that being said, everybody see inside of there? Come on, camera. Don't fall over, camera. Alright, let's just grab hold of it and pull. No, that ain't coming loose easy. Okay. Now let's try from the other side. There is another side to it, whether another tab right in there is... Can you see it? Right. Yeah, it's tough to see anything without any light in there. And if you look, see that little tab sticking down just to the right of the two rivets? That's the other side of the thing. Okay. Hold that thought a minute, gentlemen. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. All right, I took a couple minutes to think about how I want to do this, and I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull these little rivets off of or these little cap screws, cap catches, whatever you want to call them, off the bottom of this thing. See if we can't separate it enough to make it easier to get at that stupid wire channel. Okay, that came off pretty easy. And oh my gosh, it's definitely glued together as well as riveted together down there too. Okay. Alright, well, since the main purpose of this was to show you how to get the box out and how to fix it, we're just going to cut the wires and worry about the rest of it later. Alright. Didn't think this was going to be like that, huh? Okay, well, this is the belt drive that spins the radar scope on the other side. The thing spins the searchlight, and then it spins the radar scope through this pulley, and then this other pulley up here inside. I think I showed you that before. Okay. Take that off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip the wires close here. Dang it. I'm going to clip the wires close to the box as I can. And then I'll get the box out so I can open it up, and I'll just splice some other pieces of wire in there to make it work again. Oh, bear with me here. Let me grab my wire cutters. Miniature wire cutters. And we'll just get right in there. Ooh, look at that. Hey, I can even zoom in. Ooh. And we'll just clip them right next to it. Come on. Is nothing going to work right today? Okay. Excuse me a moment while I get this done. Hard to do it with the camera. Okay, as you can see, there are 3 wires. white, brown, and red. And I left enough in there left enough sticking out so that I can add a piece or two, add a piece to slice them up, and then I'll just stuff those that excess wire inside the box when I'm done. Alright. The white one appears to be stuck in some of the glue in there. I may even make this a longer series and totally disassemble this thing, but I haven't decided yet. But for right now, let's stick to the meat. Alright. The boxes, like a lot of these Hasbro deals, it's held together by glue. Glued edge, glued edge, glued edge. So, and in here it's glued as well. So you take your handy dandy razor knife like always and start cutting. The last one of these I didn't have a whole lot of glue in here, and it wasn't that hard to get apart. I don't know how much screwing around I'll have to do to get this one apart. Oh yeah, this one's gonna be stubborn. You can see the mess from the drive belt that's stuck all over the back side of this thing. Damn. Thing's making me want to get out the Dremel tool. Closer. All right. Something else that I do sometimes, it's kind of radical. You're screwing with stubborn pieces, as I will take a screwdriver, stick it into joint, and see if I can't get it to pop that way. Damn, this one's got a lot of glue on it. Alright guys, well, you get the idea of what needs to be done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video while I get this thing completely apart. So I'll be back shortly, but you won't know that because I'm just going to turn it back on after I pause and it'll look like I wasn't anywhere. Okay. Whew, boy. There. Okay, as you can see, took me about 10 minutes to do that. Should have washed it first. I also got the remains of the rubber shit all over the place. But anyways, okay. And I did as you would expect. I had to cut 100,000 times with the razor knife along all the seams, and then I stuck a screwdriver in there to pry up to get it off of there. Okay, and I will also say that I've taken apart more than a few of Hasbro's enclosures for motors like this. That's the toughest one I've ever done. Alright, I am going to break again just for a sec, and then I am going to be back. I just want to clean my hands off and clean the box off a bit so I can work on it without getting any more filthy than I already got myself. Okay. Alright, I got the box cleaned up, got my hands cleaned up a little bit. Now let's take a look at the Gusto. Alright, as you can see, got the 2 battery slots, and as I said, the corrosion is just pretty much surface corrosion. The metal appears to be as thick as it needs to be. And this part comes right out. And we'll take that and we'll clean that off real good. And if yours turns out to be trashed, you can always create one out of a strip of copper. You can buy strips of metal like that at any hobby shop pretty much. Same goes for these contacts here. I'll probably go ahead and stick a tiny nut and bolt through that rivet, and then use that to be attached to wire because that connection don't look too good. But basically, you clean this all up, clean the corrosion out of it. And that's always the place to start, is at the power source. Make sure you got good clean connections going to wherever the power's got to go to. Alright, the way this doohickey works is like this. You got this cover on there, and as we all know, the searchlight plugs into there. You got your pulley with the remains of the rubber stuff on it, and that fits over there, and then the pulley goes across to the radar scope pulley. Alright, power is supplied to the motor. The motor spins this gear thing here, and as you can see, obviously the cover of the box supports it somewhat, but as you can see, when you spin this fast enough, it starts to turn. Obviously the motor spins pretty quick. Okay, this comes right out. Obviously it should be cleaned up a bit. It does look like the plastic's a bit worn in the little groove that it sits on there. We'll see what we can do about that. And the other thing that's kind of cool about the way they make this thing work is that the searchlight plugs into here, and it gets its battery power for the light alone from these 2 circles of copper. It's similar to the way the mine detector from the 60s set works. You just connect these 2 and then the light goes on the mine detector. The way they have it here is that the power goes to these 2 right here. You have the switch in the light only position, and that gives power to that. And when it spins, quite cleverly, these contacts here just ride on this surface and this surface, maintaining contact as it spins, so it lights up and spins at the same time. Simple but clever. Alright, so that's how this thing works. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to see if this motor works. Now it spins pretty freely, but we're going to find out for sure if it works good. So we're just going to take a battery here, and we need to be able to connect this directly up. It takes 3 volts. There's something if everybody didn't know. Every one of these cells that they've been being sold for years in various styles, AA, AAA, D cells, C cells, it don't matter. All of them put out 1.5 volts. Technically it's a cell, not a battery. Several cells make up a battery. Most of Hasbro stuff runs on 1 or 2 cells of one type or another. How they decided which size they were going to use, I'll be damned if I know. But obviously the bigger the size, the longer the juice will last in the battery. So since this has a motor and lights spinning, it uses 2 D cells because those are bigger. Smaller ones can put out the same amount of voltage for a shorter period of time. Alright, so we got blue wire is that one for the motor. So we just got to feed power to this blue and this red wire, and we'll be good to go. Alright, let me get an end on, trim the end off of this wire and get some bare copper. Which a lot of times I'll do with little wires just by simply biting on it. However, the proper way to do it is use a pair of wire cutters. Or a pair of wire strippers, I should say. I'm sorry. Alright. Take the D cell. or the cell. We'll put it on there, and we'll touch that to the top. It does the motor spin. You can see the blue wire goes to this contact here. Red wire goes to the other side of the motor. So now look at that. Even with half the voltage it normally uses, it's spinning. So I'm going to say that that motor's probably just fine. After you clean up all these connections and stuff, that's the next thing to check. Does your motor work? Well, these connections look pretty clean, so we'll just give them a quick brushing up with sandpaper or some emery cloth. Just make them shiny again. These ones look to be in really good shape. It's all nice and shiny and everything. And if you look down in here, you can see that those connections appear to be a bit dirty. So what I'll do for these is I'll squirt some electrical contact cleaner down in there, and then I will likely take like a small rat tail file and just run it up and down inside of there to clean those up a bit. Well, there you have it. That's how the thing works. And anyhow, this is number one in a series, obviously. Well, looking at this and messing with how hard it was to get all that glue off of there, I think what I'm going to do, since this is, what I do is maybe, damn it, I can't really decide. I'm tempted to disassemble the whole thing, but that's a lot of glue cutting and stuff that may wind up breaking things, so maybe not. In any event, we're going to get this box working first, and all cleaned up and pretty. That'll be the subject of the next video. And okay, as you probably noticed if you've seen some of my other videos, or if you've done any of this type of work before, Hasbro's stuff, these little motorized toys of theirs, all work pretty much in the same fashion. This one here, I believe, is the most complicated one, and even this is pretty simple. But anyway, that's how it works. I hope you learned something. Post any questions you got in the comments, or if I missed anything. As far as the switch back here goes, behind here, we'll see if if that works. We'll leave it. If it don't work, then I'll be disassembling it from back here. See if we can get it to work. All right, enough for me today. Hope you guys learned something here. I hope it was perfectly understandable to y'all. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm probably going to repeat myself, always do. Yeah, any questions about it, ask in the comments if you like. And the next video will be, like I was saying, we'll get this thing cleaned up, put back together and working. The assembly will be with the machine screws like I was talking about. I guess that's it. No, wait, no, it's not. I got other things to say. First of all, yeah, check out my cool new t-shirt. Is that awesome or what? Okay. Be sure to catch Paul Knapp's live from the Man Cave show today. The guest will be Steve Stovall, who is the organizer of the Kentucky Energy Joe show. So that'll be interesting. I am going to be on the show tonight, and I'm sure Paul will have some interesting questions to ask Steve, and it'll be kind of cool to talk to the guy. So don't miss out on that. That is at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, thanks to my subscribers, thanks to my clients. I appreciate the business. I appreciate the trust you've shown in me. I really appreciate you guys liking and subscribing to these videos. Decision will be coming up pretty soon on those two ATVs I showed you in the last one. And I guess that's all I got. I'll see you later if you're watching the show. That is, if I get this video up on YouTube before the show starts. But we're going to get this up on YouTube as quickly as possible. Alrighty. Have a great night. Happy 4th. Happy birthday, America. It is great to live in a free country. And then